Today we're talking about what was in the now public Signal chat, President Trump announcing a 25% tariff on automobiles, Palestinians protesting Hamas in Gaza, and other top news for Friday, March 28th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with the pour-over today. Here's the quote of the day. You have to see Sabbath as a faith act. It's a decree that I live on God, not on work. Justin Kendrick. Let's get started with some espresso shots. The Atlantic's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, published all the receipts from the U.S. National Security Signal chat he was accidentally added to. The messages showed discussions of mid-March's strikes on Yemen's Houthi rebels, including an exact timeline by Defense Secretary Hegseth. Goldberg initially withheld the screenshots due to sensitivity, but after officials insisted no classified info or war plans were shared, published them so people could reach their own conclusions. Hours later, Intelligence Director Gabbard and CIA Director Radcliffe testified before Congress. Gabbard said she didn't recall the chat's details, but maintained that nothing classified was shared. Radcliffe defended using the Signal app for the convo. Watchdog group American Oversight is suing, alleging that using Signal, which auto-deletes messages, violates the Federal Records Act requirement for federal officials to preserve all communications about official business. Here's a verse to consider when opinions are flying left and right. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you should answer each person. Colossians 4:6. President Trump is giving the green light to auto industry tariffs. Wednesday, the White House announced a 25% tariff on imported passenger vehicles, light trucks, think pickups, and some car parts beginning next week. Economists expect the levies will raise car prices by $4,000 to $10,000, as many American-made cars have foreign parts or are partially assembled in Mexico or Canada. Trump says the tariffs will make Uncle Sam $100 billion per year and incentivize companies to do more of the car building in the U.S., creating jobs. Critics say higher prices will decrease demand, hurting car makers and forcing layoffs. Auto stocks generally went in reverse. GM minus 7.8%, Ford minus 3%, STLA minus 2.5%, Tesla plus 2.5%. Tariff uncertainty and inflation fears are shaking consumer confidence. The measure of consumers' optimism or pessimism about the economic future hit a 12-year low this week. Regardless of whether the broader economy is struggling or thriving, Christians should seek to give generously of our time, talents, and resources to those in greater need. Reach out to your local church to see where help is needed. Hebrews 13:16 says, "Don't neglect to do what is good and to share, for God is pleased with such sacrifices." Hundreds of Palestinians are protesting in a rare show of public dissent against Hamas, which has ruled Gaza since 2007. On Tuesday, demonstrations broke out in northern Gaza, the most war-torn part of the Strip, with protesters calling for an end to the fighting that's resumed since Hamas's 2-month ceasefire with Israel crumbled last week. By Wednesday, crowds had swelled and spread south, with many chanting Hamas out. Leaders of the prominent Gazan clans issued a statement calling for the end of leadership that doesn't represent us. Members of the Fatah faction, which dominates the West Bank's governing Palestinian Authority, joined calls for Hamas's withdrawal. Masked, armed Hamas militants forcibly dispersed protesters, condemning those shifting blame away from Israel and pushing suspicious political agendas. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said the protests prove that Israel's offensive is weakening Hamas. No matter what happens with government in Gaza or leadership closer to home, no matter what happens to you today, believers can face the future with confidence. Christ has delivered us from darkness and made a home for us in his kingdom. Philippians 4:12 and 13 says, I know how to make do with little, and I know how to make do with a lot. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of being content. Whether well-fed or hungry, whether in abundance or in need, I am able to do all things through Him who strengthens me.
Hey, it's Zan from The Pour Over. I used to think cashback apps were more hassle than they were worth, until I tried Upside. Now I use it all the time because honestly, who doesn't love getting paid for adulting? It's super easy. I just open the app, claim an offer, pay as usual, and boom, money back in my pocket. I don't have to worry about scanning receipts, and there aren't any weird hoops to jump through. Just easy peasy savings. I first started using it for gas, but now I use it on all the things. Last week, I got cash back on my coffee run and my grocery haul. And the best part? Upside users earn an average of $280 a year. If you're ready to stop leaving money on the table, download the free Upside app and use promo code TPO to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on the first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code TPO.
In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. Tuesday, President Trump signed an executive order requiring proof of citizenship, a passport or government ID, to register to vote in federal elections. Current federal law only requires registering voters to swear that they're citizens under penalty of perjury. Legal challenges are expected. Critics say the change is unconstitutional and would illegally disenfranchise many voters. A search is ongoing for 4 U.S. soldiers who went missing during a training exercise in Lithuania this week. Their vehicle was discovered submerged in a peat bog in the training area Wednesday. The fate of the soldiers is still unknown. U.S. and Lithuanian soldiers have been working to drain the bog and dig out the vehicle. 6 people were killed and 39 rescued after a submarine carrying Russian tourists sank off Egypt's Red Sea coast on Thursday. The accident happened during an underwater coral reef tour near the popular resort Hurghada, where another tourist boat sank in rough waters in November, killing at least 4. The cause of this week's incident is still under investigation. No more tasting the rainbow in West Virginia. West Virginia Governor Morrisey signed a law banning 7 artificial food dyes and 2 preservatives from food and drugs sold in the state. School meals will start ditching the dyes this August, with a full statewide ban rolling out by 2028. Dozens of other U.S. states have introduced similar legislations this year. The Vances are getting a chilly reception in Greenland this week. Second Lady Usha originally planned to attend cultural events, but Greenland's government called it a provocation given the Trump administration's interest in buying the mineral-rich island. Instead, VP JD will join Usha for a quick visit to a U.S. Space Force base on the Arctic island. And that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening. If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We appreciate your support and hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
The Pour Over's office cabinets are stocked with Element. It's what keeps us going during our mid-morning newsletter writing slump. No sugar, no crashes, just the science-backed ratio of electrolytes we need to stay sharp. Honestly, it's the real MVP of the Pour Over. Stay fresh and hydrated like us. The Pour Over Today listeners get 8 single-serve packs free with any drink mix purchase. Just use the Element link in the show notes.